What a better way to start your Memorial Day weekend than with this article? Okay, this email, this note, this love affair. According to Hunter Biden's email to Devin Archer, at least December 5th of 2013. I'll disclose what's exactly happening in this email shortly. But for now, dinner with blank was pretty amazing. They and Robinette Biden, Joseph Biden, were supposed to spend 2 hours together. It stretched to 7 hours. I think they're in love with each other. They almost kissed on departure. Do you know who he's referring to? Do you know what powerful male leader is being referred to there? This actually rocks the Biden White House. Bombshell, which is an overused statement, would be an understatement. But this is the facts of what we're going to cover here in just 1 minute. Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, wandering in the night. What? Sorry, just how do you can't make this up. The longer this goes on, the stranger it gets. But there's actually a method to the madness here, folks. This story has been held back from you. They have been trying not to allow this case to come too close to trial because of what it's going to expose in the Biden White House. It is sensational. It is unbelievable. It is, according to Hunter Biden. And that's what we're going to cover here in just a minute. Before we do, if you have not subscribed to Lisa's channel yet, what are you waiting for? Make sure, if you think you're subscribed, you still are. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click above if you want to support us both. Get a lot more of us live, unfiltered, uncensored, all the information you've been looking for, plus all these videos with no commercials and no interruptions. There's one place for that. That's restrictedrepublic.com. Very special discount code right now. Trump47, Trump47 in monthly checkout. It's going to get you $2.99 a month. $2.99 a month for 3 years plus 14 days for free. Trump47 in monthly discount code. That's Restricted Republic. Tomorrow I'm going to try to bring you an entire article on how the CIA is not only trying to scuttle your free speech, but is actively working with almost every social media company to assure that doesn't happen. And how they worked with Twitter is now out. 3,000 pages of documents. 3,000 pages of information of exactly how they did it. The Disinformation Governance Board, sheep comes full circle right in the center of that story, but you can only get that at restrictedrepublic.com. That will be exclusive content either today or Monday. Not sure how long it will take to get that broadcast done. It is that much information. So get there today. Trump47, Restricted Republic. It would mean the world to Lisa if you join, because I can't tell you what's happening behind the scenes as we near this election. Well, as you can tell, things start to get ratcheted down and down and down because they want no dissenting opinion, because they need all hands on deck to somehow pull some miraculous victory for Biden, which isn't going to happen. That's how we're going to start this story today. We're going to end with this love affair, but we're going to start with a victory celebration. I hope you've seen it by now. I know you have. You saw this from AOC. God is good, using the Lord's name to pray for it to rain on those that support Trump. Beckoning to the clip below where it's pouring, where he was going to hold his rally. That's a great way to show leadership. Those people who support Trump don't deserve to be rained on, AOC. They can support him. If you don't like him, don't take the Lord's name in vain or misuse it to get your opinion across. But it didn't work now, did it, AOC? In the Bronx, in the hood, you're going to see a clip where somebody said no president he believes has ever visited this spot before. And this is the rally. In actuality, that's not his rally. That's the people that couldn't get in to his rally. Nothing seems to be stopping the Trump train at all this time, and it's coming in multiple shapes, sizes, races, colors, creeds. Isn't it wonderful? It's the way America was meant to work, because everybody's fed up with the lies and disinformation being handed to us by the mainstream media And what some would consider the left, I would consider it a lot larger group than just the left. So the rain didn't work, but it did create a firestorm, or a storm of sorts, because CNN and NBC had no words for what was happening, no words to describe the reaction that Donald J. Trump was getting. They tried. It was certainly a bigger crowd than I think Democrats would like to see, particularly given this is one of the bluest counties in the entire country. Scratching their head a bit. How is he so powerful in the Bronx? Well, because the stories that are being propagated to you are not truthful. There isn't this big divide they want everyone to believe. Now we must be vigilant and cautious because they will throw everything but the kitchen sink to make sure we have a dividing moment. Like the George Floyd event divided the country, we must be cognizant that any such event could cause a similar reaction. They will make sure it does. They like divide. Nobody knows why. Why would anybody want to divide a nation? Why would anybody want to make people hate each other? Because through that hate and divide, they gain great power. But behind the scenes, when we get to the Biden story and what's being exposed through the Hunter Biden, we got much bigger problems to worry about. A rogue Department of Justice, a rogue FBI, a rogue CIA. But let's focus on this for a moment. Hear what CBS had to say on the Trump rally in the Bronx.
What else really stood out to you about the rally?
I will say this rally did look a lot like America. There was a lot of Asian voters there. There were a lot of Hispanic voters, a lot of black voters there, which is not typical for a Trump rally that I go to when I'm in Wisconsin or Michigan. Yeah. So,
ooh, somebody getting a little nervous now, aren't they? How is this happening? This is a groundswell we didn't expect to see. This isn't the outcome. But it gets far worse because now, remember, we're in AOC's home court, right? We're in the Bronx. We're in the hood, as one person states. But this is the reaction that came out about Donald J. Trump. I'll break this into just two sections for you. Listen to the first one here.
Where are you from?
The Bronx, actually.
I'm originally from the Bronx and from New York.
I'm from the Bronx.
Right here in the Bronx, New York. This is home, right here.
AOC says if you're not a Democrat, you don't belong here in the Bronx. Right. What do you say?
I disagree with that.
I don't think she should be here in the Bronx. I actually don't know any Democrats living in the Bronx.
Look, AOC, look at the tremendous support for Mr. Donald J. Trump.
That's definitely not what anybody expected to see now, is it? That's a great diversity of people there, all supporting Donald J. Trump. You'll find out one is a Democrat, at least claiming here on the clip. It doesn't stop a reaction that has and will have the Democrats in a panic. It's why I say we still have to expect the October surprise. They're not going to allow Biden to continue to run down their entire platform, which is what's happening. Nobody is falling for anything. You think him draining out another strategic oil reserve is going to help things because it's going to lower gas prices? Who knows, maybe. There could be a counter argument to that. Maybe because if he runs it out, we're going to have to buy fuel energy from somebody. Maybe we'll have to buy it from China. Just a hint of what's about to come.
You tell her then she need to stay out the Bronx because look at all the people around. Everybody's here for Trump.
I am a Democrat, and I belong here.
And who are you voting for?
Donald J. Trump.
What has AOC done for the Bronx?
She's done nothing for the Bronx. Nothing. Nothing's changed. Nothing's gotten any better.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That seems to be a message that resonates across the entire country because on the national platform, what have they done? What has the Biden administration done? What have the Democrats done to make your life better? My answer and your answer, I would guess, would be absolutely nothing. But please put it in the comments below because I think it's really important America continues to hear it resonate and resonate and resonate and resonate. We can't run from this. We can't just assume it's going to be a win for Trump. You can't. We've seen what happens. From what I know, well, let's let him speak for himself. Gentleman comes out of the Bronx and listen to these words. This isn't your traditional Trump supporter now, is it? Not as the mainstream media portrays it. But this is the reality now.
What are you here for?
I'm here to watch the Trump gathering rally here.
What do you think about him being here?
I think it's great. I think it's dope. From my generation, from what I know, this is the first time president has actually came to the hood.
Well, there's a smile on that man's face. They're happy somebody's actually there, cares about their community. because the U.S. government hasn't shown any concern for any of our communities as of late. All they care about is their initiatives and how our community should play into those initiatives. But be careful which community you're in. And be careful if your wife wants to, well, show some concern, put the flag upside down. Because nobody is insulated from the reach and the hatred of the Democrats, including Justice Alito, whose wife flew the flag upside down, and now he is met with a firestorm. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. Always calling MAGA out, aren't they?
That is enforceable. They are the only branch of government currently that can operate with impunity. Congress has an ethical code of conduct enforceable under law. The executive branch has an ethical code of conduct enforceable under law. We've got to get the MAGA extremists on the Supreme Court under control.
Wow, big words. A code of ethics. Because that's being followed by, well, very few right now. But you see, it is Target Alito. That is who they're focused on. And Justice Alito's house to stop the steal. See, this is how they think they're going to get the country back. Continue to divide it. Continue to divide it, even though we saw what happened in the Bronx. That's irrefutable evidence that America feels entirely different. Contrary to what you're being told. Contrary to all these mainstream headlines. Now, does Alito have a little bit of a problem? He does. He does because of the bylaws written by another justice. Employees may not engage in partisan political activities. Partisan political activity is political activity related to elections contested by political parties. For example, employees may not, but now as a Supreme Court justice, an employee would be the argument, or an appointee. See, there's a lot of ways to look at these arguments. But they have taken now, the Senate and the House of Representatives, so many shots at the Supreme Court as if they control them. The branch of government they still don't control, and they can't accept that. And they won't stop. They know that someday, maybe, one of these critical Trump... well, let me correct that statement. They know that one of these Trump cases is about to be on their bench. And they know, more than likely, how the Supreme Court will rule, and they will not accept that ruling. They're pre-setting the stage. They always do. They've never changed this tactic. People continue to remain blind to it. But on top of that, survey after survey after survey has shown America's pulse on immigration and what's happening. But mayors, governors, politicians in Washington continue to ignore it all. This coming out to President Joe Biden. We, the leaders representing local governments around the country, are writing to respectfully request the Department of Homeland Security leverage its authority to grant parole for long-term undocumented immigrants. They want to make them legal here. How many mayors signed this? You think it was 1 or 2 or 3 or 30 or 34? How about 41? They're not going to relent. They never do, and we must not relent either. And we must show that at the ballot box coming up so quickly. That's their reaction to what they're seeing happen. That's their reaction to what they're watching happen with Trump in the Bronx. That's their reaction to messages just
a little
like this.
Counterintuitive. And when you talk to immigrants that are going to these Trump rallies, they agree with his message on immigration. Their point is, look, I did it the right way. I came here legally.
Those are words you're never supposed to say. That's on the mainstream media. They agree with Trump's message. What do they disagree with Trump? His vanity? He's a president. The majority have a great deal of vanity to them. Is that all you're left with? The trials are all falling apart. Maybe you could start calling them names again. See, that seems to resonate with, well, yourselves. But everything here is changing. Everything's moving forward. And people are seeing through these trials. They're seeing through these maneuvers. Here, the United States District Court, Southern District of Florida, Jack Smith, asking that Trump be silenced so that he cannot discuss what they're calling a distortion of the use of the term deadly force as it related to the Mar-a-Lago search. I still can't believe I read this story. I still can't believe Jack Smith is going to ask for this. You can tarnish this man's reputation. You can misfile his documents. You can stage photos, but the minute he says anything, shut up, is what they say. This is not a representative government at this point. You can't demand everyone who opposes you be silent. Donald Trump stated, wow, I just came out of the Biden witch hunt trial in Manhattan, the icebox, and was shown reports of crooked Joe Biden's DOJ in their illegal and unconstitutional raid of Mar-a-Lago, which never had to occur, by the way. Never had to occur. It could have been much more muted. There could have been an exchange between personnel of the information they were looking for. It could have been peaceful, but no, they wanted a raid. They wanted a raid for the televisions to watch to make him look like a criminal. Authorized the FBI to use deadly lethal force. Now we know for sure that Joe Biden is a serious threat to democracy. He goes on. But this story goes on about this claim the Biden administration authorized the use of deadly force against former President Donald J. Trump during the search. The facts, according to the AP now. The policy statement on the use of deadly force, which appeared in an operations order for the Mar-a-Lago, so use of deadly force did appear in the operations order, but it's standard operating procedure. When you have one force of the FBI going into a secured compound of the Secret Service, the use of deadly force, what's happening in this gray area here? Because this isn't the way things have ever happened before. No, it was meant for the cameras. And how PolitiFact, which you could take and throw it in the garbage, states that this is a pants-on-fire statement, when it said it within the documents itself, goes to show you exactly how desperate everybody's becoming. They can't run from the facts, and they cannot run from this fact as we bring this to conclusion. You remember the statement from Joe Biden.
Number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had it. The only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. No.
Wow. I never had anything to do with my son's business dealings. Nobody made money in China. Nobody. But what if the FBI knew all along? Because as these trials they've been trying to push continue to close in, we realize they did know all along. Fed secretly knew for years Joe Biden met with son's Chinese partners on official trip. Hunter Biden wrote his father was so, well, I'm going to read it in a second. Federal agents gathered evidence during the 2016 election that Hunter Biden had used access to his father on an official government trip to Beijing aboard Air Force Two to connect prospective Chinese business partners with then Vice President Joe Biden, according to a massive cache of documents recently turned over to Congress. I told you, they're not avoiding it anymore. And obtained by Just News. The previously non-public communications were among 3.3 million pages of emails, bank records, and corporate memos that FBI, IRS, and Securities and Exchange Commission agents collected in 2015 and 2016. With subpoenas during a criminal investigation into a fraudulent bond scheme involving a Native American tribe. Well, that trial that they've been trying to hold back is now front and center. And what happens within the documents, we see that the feds knew about it all along. New reported emails from 2015 to 2016 federal. This is from the Oversight Committee, by the way. Federal investigations show agents were looking into Hunter Biden's communications with business associate Devin Archer's, leveraging Joe Biden's trip to China in 2013. Did you end up meeting with Jonathan Lee? Hunter, yes, and they got to meet Dad, the one who never met with any of Hunter's business partners, mind you, but they're admitting to it there. It's as black and white as it could be while we're still having the discussion. It's beyond imagination, but if we don't and we stop having the discussion, maybe those who haven't woken up yet will never hear it. So we'll repeat it and repeat it and repeat it again until people actually realize what happened. Yes, and they got to meet Dad. All very good. Talk later. Great. Have a good day over there. But then it gets worse. It gets into this email here. From Hunter Biden to Devin Archer, December 5th, 2013. You ready for this? Wow. If they couldn't continue to destroy their own family, if they couldn't continue to destroy his run for president, even worse, a love affair of sorts. Dinner with Yi was pretty amazing. They, Yi, and Joe Biden were supposed to spend 2 hours together. It stretched to 7 hours. I think they're in love. They're in love with each other. They almost kissed on departure. Robert Hunter Biden, writing about his father, and Xi Jinping, the communist world leader of China. You want to go into Russia collusion? You want to go into all the other falsehoods that were created? When you have a family member, Joe Biden's son, witnessing a meeting with the communist China leader Xi Jinping and declaring it stretched to 7-hour meeting, I think they're in love with each other. They almost kissed on departure. Facetious or not, where's the confrontational nature of that email? They didn't get along very well. One's a communist. One is to uphold the great republic of the United States of America. And yet, you almost paint it as being romantic. There is no romance, folks. This is the reality of what we're dealing with. Analysis of Hunter Biden's hard drive shows his firm took about $11 million from 2013 to 2018. Biden made $5.8 million, more than half his total earnings from 2013 to 2018 from 2 deals with Chinese business interests. And now we understand again why. We've been reporting on it for years. It's been withheld and suppressed for as long as you can humanly imagine. But now it's out in congressional testimony validating everything we've told you. Biden's most lucrative business relationship was acting as a consultant in a project with a company that belonged to once powerful Chinese businessman who is now thought to be detained in his homeland because, well, it appears China will control its destinies. But the U.S., no matter what love, no matter what kisses, no matter what embraces, no matter what emails, no matter what evidence, no matter what anything continues to do, nothing. So what do? They try to divide us each so that they can conquer with power. And we won't simply allow for that. We will continue to inform you so you can make more educated decisions, because the only ones who sling that much divide would be folks who don't sit in front of this microphone. Because education is power, and the more educated you are, the more you'll understand that we don't all hate each other. Those are one-off occurrences, just like we all have people in our lives that we may not prefer very well. That will always be the case. It's not always kumbaya. But that doesn't mean you could take a color divide, a race divide, or a religion divide and divide it directly down to center and say that that side must stay on the left and that side must stay on the right. Because that is simply not the way the real world works. And we will continue to uncover that, shine light on it, because that is what brings the evil forward to be seen. We love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.